Hi there, welcome to Antidote, where you get science-backed wisdom for real life. So if you watched last video, I was talking about Ulysses S. Grant. I was just giving him as an example of someone who overcame extreme odds, was in a really difficult situation and managed to achieve mind-boggling things out of that situation. But I feel like whenever you talk about these like massive historical figures from the past who achieved these great things, it's hard for us to kind of relate it to our own lives. It can almost feel like watching a movie or like reading a book, even though there's lessons that we can definitely take from it. So I want to talk about a more everyday example of the kind of thing that I was talking about in the last video. This is someone I met in my actual life. I was in LA in the summer, and as soon as I got off the plane, my data wasn't working, so I couldn't get any internet on my phone. And that was just because my SIM card, the plan didn't support America. So one of the first things I had to do was go to a Walmart, go to the technology section and try and get a SIM card that worked. And there was one guy there on the kind of technology help desk, and there was obviously loads of different people coming in with different concerns, needing different pieces of kit doing, and he was having to help everyone at the same time. And this guy, I just kind of noticed he was really polite, but also efficient. So he'd help someone for a few minutes, and then he'd be like, I'm just going to go help that person over there. He basically was just very good at his job. He helped everyone very efficiently, and was just very clearly very knowledgeable. He knew all the products in his store inside out. And there was an old lady there who went up to him and said, "You're really good at your job." And basically, my problem with my SIM card, it wasn't an easy fix. We tried a few different things that didn't work, and because of this, it meant I was staying there. I ended up staying at that like tech help desk for over an hour, and we went, because of the amount of time I was spending there, we went past the standard customer service, very surface level interaction that you usually get if you're only with someone in a customer service situation for a few minutes. And we just started talking about life. We just started talking about ourselves as actual people, what's going on. We started sharing stuff, getting that more personal connection. And he told me that before COVID, he'd been in a company which was involved in importing and exporting, and he earned a lot of money, and he had a really exciting lifestyle. And he showed me his Instagram. Those pictures of him on a private jet, pictures of him driving nice cars, a couple of pictures of him with famous people. Obviously, it's LA. If you rub in certain circles in LA, you get to meet famous people. There was pictures of him in like quite exclusive luxury holiday destinations. But he told me, look, when COVID hit, importing and exporting dried up, and I lost my job. I was made redundant, and now I'm living at home with my mum, and I'm starting again. And he was very candid about it. He, basically telling me like, look, yeah, my lifestyle is completely different now because of bad luck. I've had to restart, but I just got the sense there was no animosity, there was no bitterness in how he was telling me this. He was just kind of saying, this is how it is, and I'm making the best of the situation that I can. I'm living at home, I'm saving money, and I'm just trying to build for the future. And before I left, he also told me, "Oh, I've got this job interview at the state of California in local government. Job pays a lot more, better perks, and also just more opportunities for progression." So he was on the way back up. It was still not at the level that he used to be, and still more of a kind of humble way of life that he was living. But he was definitely just staying positive and trying to work his way back towards where he was. And you might think this everyday example doesn't sound the most thrilling. It's not the most exciting thing, but it still shows you, one, that you can, even if you're successful, it can be taken away in a minute. Things can go wrong that are out of your control, and you can end up losing pretty much everything. And two, it also showed me that even despite the fact that you can lose everything, if that does happen to you, if you stay positive and keep that positive mindset, and just kind of have that sense that, like, okay, I'm not where I want to be, but if I do the right things, something good's going to come around the corner. It does. And this guy was obviously, he was one step away from bettering his situation. And I was just thinking in the week, like, there's actually comparisons you can make between this guy and Grant. And Grant, when the Civil War broke out, he was working for his father-in-law's company as a clerk in a position that was way beneath what he was doing before as an army officer. And in his book, he wrote, it wasn't the kind of work I was accustomed to, but I determined to make the best of it. And that's the exact same mindset that I saw in this guy that had helped him kind of get through this difficult time and start working his way back up. And I think in these kind of stories, there's really important lessons for all of us, because life is not straightforward for most people. Things happen, bad luck happens. Things that are way bigger than us happen, which kind of affect us and completely turn our lives upside down. And you never know if that's going to happen or when that's going to happen. And you could be in a good situation and it could get turned upside down in a minute. So when these things happen to us, we need to have that resilience. We need to have that positive mindset so that we can work our way out of it. We can deal with the situation and the problems that are going on now, and we can work out how to survive that situation. And then once we've kind of got level footing, thrive and build back up. And when I say resilience, you might be thinking, it's quite a vague term. I don't know what it means. It's one of those buzzwords people throw out. But in psychology, they've actually kind of boiled it down to what are the traits that people have which make them resilient, which make them able to get through difficult times. And all it really is positive thought. That's literally this studies you can look up, that people who think positively and have positive mindsets in difficult times, they're the ones who are able to be successful in the future. And there's obviously countless famous people. There's countless people from history like Grant and many other people. But then there's also people that we meet in our everyday lives, and you can kind of tell that they've got that mindset. They've got that positive thought. And like I've talked about in previous videos, positive thought is like a skill you can train. It's what people learn to do in CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. All it is learning to cognitively reappraise a situation, which just means taking usually a negative situation, and instead of immediately going to, it's negative, everything's lost, I'm useless, I'm a loser, whatever the negative thought is, retraining yourself to re-look at the situation and view it from a completely different angle. So if you use this guy at Walmart for an example, when he lost his job, he could have gone, my life's been turned upside down, I'm unlucky, it's not fair, COVID's destroyed my life. And he could have used that as an excuse to basically give up, resign himself to a life of failure and constantly be bitter about what happened to him. But he decided to look at it from a different angle and go, okay, this is unfortunate, but it's affected a lot of people around the world. I'm going to take whatever stable work I can get. I'm going to move back to my mum's place and save the money on rent. And I'm just going to take it from there. And hopefully something better comes in the future. And you can see there that from the exact same situation, there's a fork in the road. There's two different ways you can look at it. One's negative, one's positive. One is optimistic and leaving a crack open in the window for something good to happen. And the other side is just giving up, letting negativity consume you and just resigning yourself to a life of failure. So the main lesson from this video is when we meet difficult situations, when we come up against obstacles, when we're the victims of bad luck, the only thing that matters is our mindset, because how we choose to think about situations determines how we react to them. And how we react to them is the only thing that decides whether we overcome it and we move past it or we let it defeat us. Because remember, we can't control everything that happens to us. We just can't. But what we do have complete control over is how we choose to think about situations. The narratives that rattle around in our brain all day actually have so much influence over what happens to us and how we act towards the world around us. So we can get control over them and choose the narrative that we decide to see. It's like the lens that we decide to see the world through. Things can transform in days. But yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you got something out of it, and I'll see you on the next one.